So I decided to delete the other video. I feel like it was trash the way it was. Yeah, so I feel like this green paint compared to the red paint represents anguish and the green paint represents, healing. So healing may not always be an easy thing, but it's something we should strive for. And, stuff like that. And becoming a better person. I'm not saying I'm a terrible person, but if you feel like you're a terrible person, you could do this, say, I'm going to do this to become a better person, you know. So I made this moon shaped thing, and that's a tree, that's a heart. That could either be the sun to you or a flower, and then just a random triangle across saying no, no, no to any sadness. And then we just draw a line and protect it. And then you got this weird thing, and then you got a flower thingy here, and then an arrow saying we got to go upward and feel good. And then triangle thing again, and then just making a mess. So I decided to make sloppy symbols. And the previous video was about how, I feel wounded by, persons, just and stuff like that. But I got it all out in that other video I deleted. I was like, do I even want to go through that again? No, I don't want to. And some of that stuff, it's good if I just talk to myself about it. I could have just let that be a private video and all that stuff. I could have just kept it up there. But I was like, nah, that's garbage. I'm just going to let that be in the trash. I could make it a private video. I could do that. That's how I feel. I could decide to do that. That'll just be a private video. Because there's a lot of stuff in there that's really meant for my ears and maybe not for somebody else, because another person might not understand some of that. But that's just that. But there, I just wanted to get that out, and just that could just be a video journal of just how I was feeling this morning. I don't know, that just swept over me today, and I was like, dude, what if this is too good to be true? You ever been in a situation where something was like, it was just too good to be true, and then your heart is broken, and then you feel like the person is stepping all over your heart, crushing it, kicking it to the side, spitting on it, telling it it's garbage? I mean, that stuff is painful, and it takes time to heal past stuff like that. It really does. It takes time, because you don't just say, oh, I'm okay right away after a while. No, you got to process that stuff. You have to process it. And certain persons, like the one person that likes to tell people, oh, you just got to get over your feelings, or you have to get out of your feelings. That's just not how that works. It's never that. It was never that simple for me. I just have to, process it the best way I can. And that's why I do stuff like this. I could make silly stories, tell silly stories, and then go from there. But, I feel like my heart is probably being broken all over again. I'm thinking, all right, this time when I move on, I'm never going to try that stuff again. Never, ever, ever going to try that stuff again. Open my heart to somebody, and then they just spit on it. And it's people that you love. And it's people that you'll cherish for sure. It's these persons that you're going to love for sure. It's a person that that when you're holding each other, that it feels so real, surreal, absolutely vivid, something more than a lucid dream. I mean, it's powerful. It's powerful. And you could call me a baby person if you're like, oh, you're just a baby. I'm not a baby. Or better, I guess I could be a baby in a sense. I wouldn't call myself a baby. I guess it was, oh, you responded like a baby. No, I responded like any human being would. You want to call me a baby person, you go on ahead. I'll let you call me a baby person. But that's just how I feel. Okay, that's just how I feel about that situation. Just communicate with the individual that it could never be. I mean, that helps sometimes. And then if you ignore me and let me know that you're ignoring me without even saying anything, and I could clearly see that that's what you're doing, I'll take that as a hint. I will definitely take that as a hint. Yes, people give away certain clues, but then sometimes they like to be in and out in and out of your face, and in and out of your life, your heart, whatever it is, making false promises here and there, and then they can't admit that it's not possible. I'm thinking, why not just say it? Why not just say it? It would make sense if you did. It'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier. It'd be helpful for me, because stringing me along, that's just you trying to get me to go through the motions of just sitting around waiting. No. That's the only thing I'm asking is that persons don't string people along. Just tell them. Just tell them that it can't work. Just tell them that you don't see them that way, or tell them that, you know, if you're going to be too busy for something, that they should just move on. That there could never be a time for the two of you or something like that. You should just tell them that, rather than just saying, oh, they should just wait around and do this or do that. Because sometimes people will move on. That will happen. But the only problem with that is that sometimes certain individuals, they return, and then what happens is they'll say, well, why would you just move on like that? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? I didn't think that was a problem. I didn't think it was a problem. I can't do that forever. I can't do that forever. I have to move on. I'd have to move on. And the only thing that pains me is when people will not allow you to move on. Like, that's the biggest problem here, is if you decided to do that and you're no longer interested, they make a big fuss about it. So if you're going to try to force that person to stick around, you're only killing their heart. And that's the only thing they're asking you not to do, is kill their heart. Just tell them how you feel, be honest, cherish that, cherish them. If you're going to cherish them, just be honest. And that's kind of like what I want this person to do. The only thing is there's a more proper way to say all this, because the person's thinking I'm attacking them. So, how some people, they feel like you're attacking them if you say it a certain way. I'll just use certain clues. I'll take on certain cues. I'll do that. That's another way to go about this. And that'll be my answer. That'll be my answer. I'm thinking, person, don't do like what you did before. And you're saying you want to take an interest in something, and you say, oh, how come I don't have this person's information? So I give you my information, and then all of a sudden I don't hear from you. Because it sounded like you were making it a big deal that we don't have each other's information. And I'm sitting there thinking, I didn't think to ask you for yours because I probably wasn't your type. And it turns out somewhere down the line that there could potentially be a way to do it. The person, I pursued this individual. I did. I pursued the individual. I told this person my feelings. And this was a couple of days ago. Okay. I told this person my feelings, but sometime before that, the person, was all over the place. The person was all over the place, had my information the entire time, but never, shared much out of their feeling, asking how I was doing. You could tell somebody doesn't really care about you. So you can kind of tell when somebody doesn't really give that much of a shit about you. And like the time I told the person I was hit by a car, the person thought it was funny. I'm thinking, dude, you can tell somebody doesn't give a shit about you. I'm sitting here telling this person my feelings, and I'm thinking, am I stupid for this? I probably am stupid for this. I took this long of a while to tell you my feelings, and it turns out you're rejecting all these other people, but you're giving me a chance. But at the same time, you think my predicament, like, she thought it was funny that she forgot that I was hit by a car. You could tell the person doesn't really give a shit about you. And I'm not going to beg that they do. I think it helps if they tell me to my face, because I feel like you might be stringing me along again. The person thought it was funny. The person sat there and laughed. Like, are you kidding me, dude? I find it interesting that other people pointed that out. Oh, why is your hand in a cast? That person didn't bother asking. And the person does have a tad bit of control freakism about them. I'm thinking, what the hell was I looking for in this individual? What was I looking for? Like, am I an idiot or what? I guess I have to call myself stupid. Maybe I should call myself stupid. They say love makes you stupid, or love makes you do crazy things, or love makes you this, love makes you that. Maybe. Maybe. On average, I would disagree on a lot of things, but that one, because of how I feel, I might as well call myself an imbecile. Because I feel like shit right about now, complete shit. And I'll say after this, I'm definitely staying single. I'm definitely staying single. Like, dude, if you're gonna treat the person like they're just nothing at that moment. You don't care that they're okay, and then you fakingly show emotion towards this individual. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, could it ever be real with this person? I sat there and wondered, you thought that was funny? Really, person? You thought that was funny? I was just waiting for this person to tell me that the person responding to me was just a joke. That's all. That's the only thing I guess I could wait for. Or maybe I should just bail now. That would make a lot of sense. But if I do that, all of a sudden the person will say, "Why would you ask me this and why would you ask me all that if you're just going to turn around and do that?" And then you hear this person talking about how people stood the person up. Someone stood this person up, and if I were to do that, or in fact I didn't stand you up, it's more like I just decided, this probably is a bad idea. This is probably a bad idea. I gave it some thought, and I rethought. I mean, I just let my emotions get ahead of me. I rethought about the exchanges from the previous months. They weren't all the best exchanges, and they weren't all the most profound exchanges either. They weren't exactly the best exchanges. And somehow I found a way to have a crush on this person. Like, the fuck's wrong with me? I must be stupid or something. I had a crush on this person. And then I tell the person in a text, "You did a number on me," because somehow I'm kind of, I feel like I might be a bit glued to you. Like, I can't, like anytime I'm somewhere and there's a possibility you might be there, I'm always looking for this person. Like, where's the person? That's how you know you like somebody. You're looking for the person. Where is the person? Where is this person? Lately, before I've seen this person again a few days ago, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to have this person fleshed out of myself, fleshed out. You see the person all over again, and all of a sudden, all of a sudden, the feelings come flooding right back because you expressed to this person, and it opened everything up that you were trying to just bury and say, I'm going to kill this off, and I'm just going to act like I've never seen it before. When you do certain things, this will be why some people, they never open up again. They're wounded so bad they never open up again. Their feelings were treated like trash. And some people don't care that some people might be sensitive, or they may have a lot of feelings, lots of feelings, lots of them. They have strong feelings for certain situations. Once you start doing certain things, people will sit there and wonder, well, or better yet, not wonder. They'll just go ahead and take a guess. I guess that means it's time for me to go. That is a clear-cut indication that something is amiss there. Something doesn't make sense. That it couldn't work. I'm pretty sure this person wants other people to respect this person's feelings. But when it's reciprocated to this person, what the person is doing to a particular individual, they get activated. Something in them gets activated. They realize what they did. And then the other person leaves. But I'm not going to be the person that does something like that. I'm not going to sit around and wait for you to get activated, say, oh, I'm going to try to activate your heart, crush it, and then leave so you can feel how I felt before. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That, to me, that's a waste of energy. It's a waste of energy because that's like emotional revenge. That doesn't go anywhere, and the person could turn around and shoot you for that. And I don't think being shot up for that is even worth it, because you're basically shot for something that was not a scientific breakthrough for birth. I'm not saying I have to be a scientist or all that, but you have to think about all the good things to be shot for. You had a scientific breakthrough, you're gonna help people cure their illnesses. But then again, they found ways where you don't necessarily need to make a scientific breakthrough. But let's say that was possible, and you got killed for that. That was worth it, because you saved lives. You're thinking, well, my job here is done. My job here is done. It's not like you can't go on vacation or see the world and travel. I mean, that's another good thing. You could go traveling and all that stuff, but it is something to enjoy, to say, you know what, I could happily die at a beach just watching the sunset. I mean, because you're enjoying yourself. You could die going bungee jumping, because you're like, oh well, dying enjoying what I love is cool. You can die. I don't know if you want to die going kayaking. I mean, you'll probably feel a lot of that. You'll probably feel a lot of that before you're officially dead. Talk about getting your legs torn off. I mean, the current, the way you get smacked across some rocks, that's gotta hurt. I would imagine bungee jumping would hurt too, but that should be somewhat like instant death. But if you're enjoying yourself and saying, "Oh, that's nothing," then it's to die for. But I guess it all depends on how much it hurts to you. You're like, oh, that's too much to be going through. You gotta scream for about a good 30 minutes. I don't feel like doing that. Well, in person, maybe bungee jumping is not for you if you're thinking that'll happen all the time. It probably won't. But let's say it was possible. Were you finally doing something you enjoy? That's the question. Besides that, being dead because of a relationship is fucking stupid. I think that's why it's important to express the way you express through art, and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna try to find some healing measures so I can get through this." This way, if there were to be an exchange between myself and the other party, I've already had my path paved, because I told, this is what I'm gonna do in case this is said. This is how I'm just gonna move forward. This is how I'm gonna move forward. Just focus on this. Have this. Do something with this. Channel whatever I need to channel through this and all that stuff, and go from there. That is what I think is the best thing to do for myself. Tell myself all that. And I just want the person to be open and honest, because I opened myself up to this person, and the person thought it was sweet, but then laughing at the fact that somebody I don't know, I mean, it's kind of strange. That's kind of strange behavior. Unless that was a guilty laugh, but I'm thinking, do you laugh out of guilt? I only know how to look sad when I'm guilty. So, some people just have different ways of expressing their feelings, their interior. It still begs the question, if I pair that up with the fact that you claim that you care to express something with me by having my information, if I pair that up with the lack of contact, you doing that, and so you could pair that up to assume that the person doesn't really give a shit about you, and that's fine. I just want you to say it. I just want you to say it. That way, going forward, we just know how to handle each other. That way, I don't have to talk to you, asking you, saying something like, "Is this possible? Is that?" But I don't need to ask that question. I don't need to ask you how you feel. I don't need to ask you anything. You basically showed it all to me. I wouldn't need to do that. And the entire time, the person had my information didn't bother to ask the whole time the person has not seen me if I was okay. So, and I'm not expecting that. I kind of figured the person at that time didn't really see me in the way I should be care. I was kind of like, saying, you know what, that comes with the territory. But after I expressed my feelings and the person just laughed it off and all that stuff, I'm thinking, yeah, that does mean something. They don't really care. They don't care. So I'm thinking, why would I express my feelings to this individual? Why would I do that? And then the other person, that person was telling me about how that person was interested in that person, and the person wasn't giving that person the time of day. And then that person told me that the same person that wasn't given the time of day by the same person that I like, that they just moved on. That person was just used to just be giving that individual a ride to work and all that stuff. Or at least that's the way that individual put it. The person called me and asked how I was doing, and I said fine and stuff like that. I mentioned getting hit by a car. That person has shown concern and all that stuff. And we were working at the same job, and the person was talking to me about how that person, is not paying that person the time of day. I'm just rummaging through my mind right about now. I get a lot of the times I've defaulted to I would rather live in my headspace because I don't like talking as much. On average, I usually don't, but I do it for the YouTube channel because, you know, it's just stuff that I would rather express a lot of times. A lot of the times I would rather not talk about something like this on here, but because I don't think it should be important, but because I just needed to get it off my chest, I decided to do art with it. I was painting, I was doing paintings and all that stuff with this thing. I would rather paint and do it. But since I deleted the other video, I decided I'm just going to show what I did here. I decided to talk about all of this is going to represent, healing, the healing process. Trees are beautiful. So you know what trees can do. It makes the entire forest smell good. It makes the entire forest cool, but you do get some of that sunlight in there. You wouldn't even need an air conditioner if you wanted to live out in the forest. You wouldn't even need it. But anyway, I'm going to get back on the topic of what that person was talking to me about. The person was telling me that the person was just going to move on because that person was just, getting on that person's nerve, just asking that person to drive the person to work. But that person, ironically, that person gave me a chance, but not the other person. But I feel like I'm being laughed at. Oh, we gonna hurt this individual's heart by, this, that, and the other. Oh, we'll talk, we'll do this. Although the person said we'll talk about something, I even told the person I wrote a poem. I even told the person I wrote a poem for yourself. And then the person said, I would like to see that. And now I'm sitting there thinking, should I even do that? Should I even show the person the poem? I'm sitting there thinking maybe it was a mistake to even talk to this person. So now you're pretty much back where you started, which is fine. Which is fine. Back where I started was before I met that person, which is fine. Because I don't think I feel the way I do about this person the way I felt then, which was nothing. And it was better that way. I would appreciate if this person was mean to me, to be honest with you. I would appreciate it. If the person was mean, that lets me know I could walk away. It actually helps when you're mean to the person. It would be a lot easier if you just showed out that you really want to be mean. Because people trying to be nice, they're a lot of times they're not legit. It would actually help if this person was actually mean to me. It's getting to a point where it's like, dude, why are you not mean to me? Why are you not mean to me? Why are you not, scoffing at me, telling me to fuck off, get lost? That stuff, because some of us are actually used to that. We'll take that and just go on. We'll take that and just go on. We already know, okay, that person can't be bothered. We'll just, walk away. We'll just walk away, start fresh. Starting fresh is, it's always relieving a lot of the times. Because Picking up something where it left off, it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. It really does. At least it leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I can't say that for other people. Other people say, well, would it be possible if we left where things left off? Or we start where things left off, and the only reason why they asking that is because it was, you know, somewhere where they left off, it was peaceful there, and then having to start over means, oh, you got to go through some rules and regulations again. It's like they're chastising you, and they're being rough on you, and it's making the other person apprehensive. They're thinking, where is this going to lead us? Where's this going to lead us? Does that mean I'm in trouble? It's making them watch their shoulder all the time, and I think, oh, I probably should get out of here. You have no idea what they could be thinking. And that's why it's easier for them to start where it doesn't work like that for everybody. You can't start where you left off. If you're apprehensive, it's probably best that you don't come back. You know, a done deal is a done deal, dude. What's done is done. It's a done deal that it's time for us to move on. What's done is done. And that stuff, yeah, it can be painful when you let it, but you're doing what you have to do. So what if it's painful? You know how many times a lot of people have to, leave something because it was painful? I've been hurt in the past, but today I'm not beating myself up over what happened in the past. Well, except maybe that one situation, but that's parental. That's more parental. That was more like me versus a particular parent. Stuff that scars you to this day. It's stuff that scars me to this day. These are scars you don't see. That one parent, the female parent, biological female parent. But I'm not wasting my time thinking about all that much about her all the time anyway. I'm just saying sometimes that pops up back in my mind. Certain situations, they're triggers, they make you think about that stuff all over again. Sometimes they do. It takes you back there. And it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. And I'm thinking, listen, this is why I have the path that I have to get away from that. Because you can't go back in time and fix it. It's what's done is done. The damage that's done is done. What's done is done. What's done is done. And the next question is, how do you heal from that? So it's done. How do you heal from that? I mean, nobody can answer that question. And that's why they don't like you. That's exactly why a lot of people don't like you. And I will say on average, that's okay. That's why certain people, if they were to find out about that, that would be why they don't like you. Like, oh, you that fucked up? Well, what can we do with you? What can we do with you? Well, I wasn't ever asking to have anything to be done with me or anything like that person. But certain people make assumptions if they found out about that, oh, this person's going to be an issue here. Oh, the person's going to be an issue there, and blah, 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 blah. I'm not asking, and a lot of times it's certain people that have that response, and you don't see them a certain way. You're not looking in their direction. You're looking in somebody else's direction that may relate to you. You're not worried about the other people. You already know the other people don't know anything, and when they talk, you can hear that they don't know anything. So you've developed a different language because of where you've been, and those people, they've taught you back in elementary school or middle school that they're not your type anyway, because you see them, or at least I've seen them when I've graduated high school. They come back with fake smiles like, oh, so how you doing? And it's only because their friends would have waited college. It could be that their friends would have waited college, and now they're stuck having to figure out their path and all that stuff. They see the likes of you. They see your face after all that time. And because nobody else is around, they got to make sure they smile to you. I remember I used to have a person I would call an acquaintance or a friend, and the person stopped contacting me. The person doesn't call me as much anymore. The person stopped calling me as much anymore. And I just took that as, well, I guess that's a natural thing. I just let it be. Then all of a sudden, years down the line, the person comes back talking about something, oh, it was good talking to you. Sweetheart, you just wanted attention because your friends were gone. I hate being used as a cushion because your friends are gone. I'm thinking, if you're going to be gone, be gone. Don't come back or try to use me for discussion because somebody's not around. They do it today. They kind of sort of do it today. I hate that, dude. Because they hate when a room is quiet. It's quiet because I have to assess my situation. Well, depending on where I am, this is how I should carry on in the future. This is how I should carry on in the future. This is how I should carry on from today all the way up to tomorrow. and a plethora of tomorrows. You know, I understand you have books like Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People and all that stuff. He writes in there, oh, because people are always saying, oh, you got to read this book. This book will, this is a must read. So I read the book, and I didn't think to read the book. I mean, it sounded interesting at the time, and I've seen it before, and then somebody mentioned it to me, and I'm like, maybe I guess I will go and check that out. So I read at least halfway through it, and I'm not finished with it because I forgot about it for several months. I'm definitely a little past halfway through the book. It's an interesting book, and it mentions in there about how everybody only cares about themselves. Well, maybe it's not everybody, because some people are wondering that when somebody says that, they have you in their heart, is that true? And then it turns out it's not true. So you got some of us that are a bit like outliers. We're kind of like outliers in a way. We're outliers. Some of us are outliers. I could never walk into a relationship with a person and then say, oh, this person has everything I need. That makes no sense. How would I even know something like that? How would I even know something like that? Oh, this person should have everything I need. Oh, this person has to do this for me. This person has to do that for me. The only thing I did was express my heart to the person because it was something about the person I found attractive. It might be because the person is crazy. And for some reason, I'm attracted to crazy people. So, I guess somewhere it's in my mind. Like if the person is normal, that's not going to challenge me in any way. I don't know if the person, or if you're psychologically normal, that's not going to challenge me anyway. Somebody will ask, well, aren't you psychologically normal? How you going to look at me from the outside and ask me if I'm psychologically normal? Obviously, something is wrong with me if I'm attracted to crazy people. Obviously, something is wrong with me if I'm attracted to crazy people. And I tell people, listen, I have certain things I was diagnosed with, and I guess you have a tendency to like your kind. So if you like your kind, I mean, sorry person, but I can't say I'm attracted to your kind. Your kind doesn't understand my kind. I'm sorry. And or we're talking mental kind. We're not talking physical kind. We're talking mental kind. There's a mental clan. The physical clan doesn't even exist. It's a mental clan. And it's when you suffer in your mentality, that's where your family is. That's where your family is. And that's one of the things I've understood for myself is that wherever family is pretty much how your brain works. That's where family is. And you have to understand that some of that, liking some crazy people, it's not a good idea because they could be violent. They could kill you. But let's say they're the kind of crazy that are reasonable and they plan on looking towards a better tomorrow. You both have something to work on. You're helping each other. That's worth it. That's kind of like worth it because I'm not going to say anything against any, normal persons. They're very likely to bash you, or at least people that think they're normal. They're like, oh, how come your head is not normal? Or how come you're this? How come you're that? A lot of times these people think they're normal when they're not normal. So people that know they're normal, they avoid you. People that think they're normal, they can't wait to argue with you. I'm thinking, what? Person, if you're trying to argue with me, you're probably just as bad as myself if you think I'm bad at all. Think about that. Think about that. It's even written in your Bible. Oh, those that argue with a certain person, if you think you're better than that person, you're actually not better than that person. Because you're arguing with that person, trying to change their, but you're no better than the person. They can't change the fact that that you want to change them, that's what you want, and you can't change the fact that they're content with who they are. So you got two people that have a change issue. Okay? Crazy is as crazy does, and crazy is permanent. Your actions don't have to stay the same. The fact that your head is insane may stay the same for eternity. Your actions don't have to stay the same. Your virtues don't have to stay the same. You can change your virtues while being insane. It's easy. It's easy. You just have to know right from wrong. And some people can't seem to freaking know how to do that. You can change your virtues. You may not be able to change that your head is fucked, but you can change your virtues. Okay? This head of mine is screwed. Okay, that's partly why I respond the way I do. That's partly what it is. I'm not exactly, I'm messed up in there, dude. I'm pretty messed up in there, for both emotional reasons and, other reasons like psychologically and some other stuff going on in there. But I decided I was going to deal with it by myself. I'm going to deal with it by myself because I know myself. And, a psychiatrist doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know anything. They're quick to say, oh, you had those types of ideations? We should have you admit it. Oh, you have those types of feelings? We shall have you take these prescriptions. So they sit there, they pull out their pink paper, they scribble on it, they say to go to the next pharmacy. I'm thinking, person, that is not going to do anything. So you test it out to see if that works. It doesn't. Of course, I'm going to test it out to see, well, what is it? I didn't feel any different. All it is a fucking placebo. That's all it was a placebo. So I tested it. And for about 2 years, there was really no change. There was no change. So that right there tells you that change is built. You have to build the change. Pills don't build shit. Happy pills don't do anything. It's pills, dude. It's freaking pills. It's built. And that was back when I was 16 years old. I said, I'm not doing this shit anymore. I'm not taking these dumb pills. These pills are trash. They're garbage. They're complete garbage. They're no good. They're good. And I love how grandma was like, listen, why'd you get off that medication? You're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. Actually, it's doing me a disservice. It doesn't work. And apparently I never needed it. I tested it out because it was a recommendation. I got to make sure the recommendation is a falsehood by testing it. Okay? It's not quite the same as being a scientist, like, so how does this work? And when we conduct these experiments, what do we get at the end of them? Yes, anytime you ask why or how, you're a scientist. That's what an elementary school teacher once said. But that's not quite the same as this. You're running an analysis by just being a guinea pig. And guinea pigism, it was for a time. So you know what I did after that guinea pigism? I said, screw all that. It doesn't work. And I'm glad it didn't work. I'm glad it didn't work because after that I decided to develop an attitude. Listen, if X, Y, and Z is going to be X, Y, and Z, I know how to make my own X, Y, and Z because that X, Y, and Z is not mine. If X, Y, and Z can't be a particular service, you got to develop your own X, Y, and Z because if you're missing something out of your entire alphabet, you got to go and make it yourself. Make it yourself. People assume you got to go scrounging around for shit. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And some people get that as an early lesson. That shit doesn't exist. The brain knows it. The brain knows it. You don't just give it pills and it says, oh, that shit ain't real. That's no real serotonin. That's not real. That is not real. It's fake. That's not the real deal. You have to believe that it's going to work. So then that means it's not real. Did you know that you could get serotonin from eggs and certain other foods? So certain greens. So why would you be taking pills? I did that research. I'm like, what the hell was we doing this for? You can get it out of certain vegetables. Like, what the hell, dude? I think asparagus might have been on that list, but I stopped doing the research. I said, you know what? You know what else makes me feel good? These crafts and doing these short stories. Some garbage ass sitting in a chair in the office talking to a person that's just nodding their head. I'm just going to write all this stuff down on the clipboard. The person once said suicidal ideation, Oh, the person said this, the person said that. The person said they cut. The person said they were about to hang themselves that day. The person said, they're just taking notes. They're just taking notes. That's all they're doing is taking notes. And then they ask, have you had thoughts or feelings of wanting to do this recently? It's basically the same shit every time they see you. Or if you never said that you had thoughts or feelings. If at any time, has it ever occurred in your mind that you should do X, Y, and Z? Did these thoughts arise within you? They talk like that. They talk like that. That's what they say. Did you ever think this? Did you ever think that? Did you ever begin to develop suicidal ideation? They keep asking you that question in case you're going to lie to them or tell them no. And I'm thinking, dude, this procedure is stupid. And if the person said yes, well, then what? Then what? And then, of course, what they'll do is they'll have you admit it. Have you admitted to a particular place to say, oh, you need to get your head checked. That's the laziest fucking thing I've ever heard. Whatever is causing them to want to kill themselves, honestly, it doesn't get better by shoving pills down the person's throat, whether they're crunching in their teeth or just having to go down their esophagus into their stomach and right out through their duodenum, jejunum, and cecum, and all these parts of your body, and it goes out of your rectum, okay? Or better, not in your rectum, more like in your bloodstream. It goes into your bloodstream. You might as well be crapping that stuff out of your body, excreting it. It might as well just be a thing of secretions. It might as well be. People are like, oh, I don't feel a change from this. So they try to put them on different drugs and all that stuff. And the whole purpose of that is, and the whole purpose, the entire purpose of that is to try to see if the person, develops placebo effect on the other pill. They're like, oh, well, this should work. Yeah, some people's brains don't know how to lie to themselves, so it doesn't work. It doesn't work, dude. Some people's brains don't lie to themselves. And then you see some people in certain buildings, they fake excitability. They start getting hallelujah oriented. I'm thinking some of those people in those buildings are fake. Some of those religious people might be legit, but the other ones are faking it, They're faking it. No offense to religious persons, but some of the people are faking it. It's not legit. So, and then my favorite part, since we're on the topic of religion, like, oh, you just need Jesus. I'm like, what? That doesn't work. And it might be because I'm an agnostic. That doesn't work, person. I'm an agnostic person. That basically is saying you don't have enough information on whether or not you know that person exists. If there's rhetoric on one side where they say, oh, we don't know if he was ever here, or you got some researchers saying, oh, he never existed. You have other researchers saying, oh, he was just a prophet. He was just one of the many sons of God, like Buddha. Buddha was another son of God. Everybody's got their own, take on what these people are or were, and how they had certain epiphanies and all that stuff. It might be that they were just people that had epiphanies about certain things. It could be. I don't know if he, existed or not. I'm not a paleontologist. I did not go and dig up that guy's bones and say he wasn't real. I'm not a paleontologist. I wasn't there. They claim to have found his grave and all that stuff, but I'm thinking, you can make any claims you want to make, person. If I'm not doing the work, and that's why it takes everybody else to do the work. That's why people do doubt. Or not do doubt, have doubt. Obviously, their fingers need to do the work. They're probably visual/applied learners. Try teaching a visual/applied learner that something exists. They need to do the work. And then this person went, well, why can't you just believe it? Because they're visual/applied learners. They learn through application. They're application-oriented people. Okay, that's how maybe a lot of us were raised as kids. That's how we were taught to learn, or that's how we adapted a learning process. You're a visual/applied learner. How you gonna teach a visual/applied learner how to believe in something where they need to put their fingers to it? Come on, person. They need to put their fingers to it. That's what they tell you. Well, I need to see it to believe it. Well, there you go. Some people learn through application. I can visualize that as a possibility, but me trying to conceive of it or conceiving of it is not enough to say that my conception is real. What if what I have is a misconception? I have to doubt myself on that one. I can have a conception about it, but that's not the same thing as saying, oh, I know it's true. Come on, dude. The same with these pills. It's the same with these pills, person. Like, oh, y'all just difficult. No, person. Visual/applied learners. Okay, it's not enough to have a conception. The other part is talking. It's never enough to have it. They want to see it now. They want to see it. They want to make sure their conception can be tested. Unless we want to call ourselves people that are just able to have fantasies, which I don't see anything wrong with that. I fantasize a lot. Okay, I fantasize a lot. That's it for this rant.